Hello world and welcome to World's End Tarot. Thank you so much for being here with me right now. I just want to say thank you to those of you who have subscribed recently. I've noticed it. It's really lovely to have you here on this channel. So today, as promised in my previous video, I'm going to be doing a career reading. We're going to be finding out where you're at now, where you're at in the future, as in the near future, so quite soon, and some advice from Spirit about where you're currently at and like what kind of messages they want you to be aware of, completely focused on career. So I want to start by picking out the cards for these three options I have for you here. First of all, let's go through the crystals that I have laid out for you. We have the first option. I've gone for darker stones today because I fancied something a little darker. So this stone here is showing up as black on the camera, I think. It certainly looks visibly black in this light to me, but this is a very, very, very dark green jade and is beautifully shaped into this oval. So that is the choice for pile one. Second option we have for you here is the black obsidian egg, a little mini egg, which is extremely tactile to the touch, completely and utterly black. And it's just one of my favorite pieces. I love this. Then last but certainly not least, I have for you a piece of polished blue tiger's eye. Now again, it's showing up very, very dark on the camera and in the light right now, but there is a very beautiful little streak of blue going through this piece. So I just want you to take a little moment. If you are somebody who chooses by crystals, these are your options for 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to pick a card to correspond with each of these from The Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. So let's have a look here for pile one. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to choose all of the cards and then we're going to look at them closer. Oh, pile two is running away from me there. Pile two, please. Thank you. And pile three. There we go. Okay. So for the green dark jade, we have chop wood coming up. And that is for pile one. Then for pile two with the black obsidian, we have serendipity. And then for pile three, for the blue tiger's eye, we have here and now. So I want you to take a little moment, gather your thoughts, meditate, and meet me in your reading. See you soon. Hello, pile one. You chose the chop wood card along with the dark green jade stone. So let's get into your career reading. Let's find out what's going on with you. I want to take another couple of cards from my oracle deck. And then I'm going to have a little look at my tarot as well. But first of all, I want to take... Let me see. Okay, I just need to feel my way through this for you. So this is you. This is how you're showing up. Okay, I'm just going to hold on to this as I read for you, pile one. So the first thing that I wanted to say, I think that it's really interesting if you were attracted to choose this particular card here as your token card, Chop Wood. There is a practicality to this card. There is something about doing the work with this card. So I perceive you to be somebody who is not afraid of hard work, and if anything is quite handsy about getting on with things. You're someone who might work with their hands, but you're particularly someone who's very industrious, and that's part of a work ethic that you like to see progress. It's not so much something that is limited to it being practical, like work, like making things in a creative sense, or I don't know how to word this. If you're someone who's quite academic about what work that they do, seeing words on a page building up is also the same energy here. There's something about marking progress and seeing progress for you. And so I find this is a very interesting card to be choosing for a career reading. And I like that that's something that you're very open about hearing a message about. There's also something here that can illustrate more lessons to help us interpret these cards that I've just pulled, thinking of you. And I'm going to be reverting back to this lesson overall because I do think it's a really interesting theme playing through your cards. So right now, where we're at with this column, balancing act and the Six of Swords helping to clarify what angle we're coming from. So immediately I was thinking, okay, this is someone who has choices going on. This is someone who's being pulled in lots of different directions. This is someone who feels like they might be teetering on the edge of certain realities or choices that need to be made, or possibly there's just a lot of responsibility and it feels like you're on a knife edge or a tightrope, and there's a balancing that's required for you to stay on top. Janelle Monáe's song Tightrope is coming into my head as well, so that might be worth a listen. There's something about that happening partly because you're not really feeling like you're anchored particularly in one spot or another. This could literally be not knowing exactly what city to commit to living in, or what department in your office to commit to working in, or apply to work in, or what kind of career path you're actually thinking of committing. There's something about commitment, basically. It's something about commitment coming through with your career, to do with where you are based in a physical sense and also in a literal sense within your path. So it could be things like what position you're wanting to apply to, what kind of career you're thinking of doing. It's almost as if you've got a choice. It's like, do you be a teacher or a tutor on one-to-one basis, or would you teach a class? Like there's something, that type of thing. Partly to do with just not really feeling quite at home where you're at, and that's because of a necessity. There's been a lot of change in the last few years. I'm sure that many of us have seen our lives change in a different way. And there's some kind of overhang from past expectations of what things should be like coming into your current present moment, where you have like an older self, a shadow self or something, who had a version of events of how things were supposed to play out. And that's still something that you're hanging on to. It's almost as if that's not quite helping you to move on into somewhere that's more productive. That's coming from a place of being untethered to your current situation. And so other people read that from you too, and they respond to that in kind. They're not necessarily sure where you're at. And there's something about commitment coming through here. More about commitment to yourself and your own vision. It's about taking some time to actually decide what you want, as opposed to just trying to follow the script that you wrote for yourself in the past, as opposed to looking at what things have changed since then, what your priorities might be now. And the chopwood card as your token card coming through here, there's this saying, I don't know if I'm butchering it, but there's something about, well, the wood isn't going to chop itself, the water's not going to, you need to carry water and chop the wood, to get where you want to be. So I feel like that's the sort of phrasing that you have. If I could phrase your work ethic, that would be the phrase. And there's something about that not quite being aligned with a vision going forward. It's almost as if you're still playing by that old script. And Spirit here is talking about that reality, that feeling of having to have a lot of plates spinning at the one time, and it not feeling very comfortable, and you're not feeling very grounded. So it's interesting that we're having this reading, because I think that ultimately, if this is resonating with you, pile one, then this reading is a little bit about how to get out of that place and get to somewhere more productive than where you're feeling that you're at right now. So coming up soon, we've got elves and playfulness here. And we have the Page of Cups supporting this particular. I'm just going to move these cards a little bit, because I think that they might be a little bit easier to see for you if I shift them up a little bit there. So that's a bit better now. Yeah, there's a playfulness coming through that I like, and it's supported by this Page of Cups. So this is telling me that some of the things that you can do now, so that things are shifting for yourself later, because what I'm seeing is lots of opportunities to have fun coming into your realm, pile one. I'm seeing lots of opportunities to grow, and I'm seeing that the way to get to a happier, healthier, more stable and grounded place is actually to look a little bit further back than a few years ago. This is talking about like getting more in touch with your inner child. What is it that motivates you? What is it that makes you feel excited about something that's vocational for you? Or what is it that, even if you're in a job that you don't particularly like but you need to stay there, what other aspects in your life are helping you to play more and feel more alive? And are those things that you can bring into your work on a daily basis? These types of questions are helpful to maintain a little bit more of a reminder about who you are as an individual, because I feel like that's kind of getting lost in the mix here, partly just because of circumstance, but also partly like when we work to a script, we often forget why it is that we made certain choices in the first place. And that's kind of what I feel Spirit's talking to me about here now. It's almost as if you think that you need to work really hard and be really serious all the time, otherwise you're never going to achieve your goals. And this is actually being questioned here. Spirit's saying, actually, no, this is like unnecessary trouble that you're making for yourself. You're actually almost disconnecting from the reason that you were interested in these choices in the first place. It's like you've kind of forgotten the joy in those choices. And I say they, I don't know if it's they, it feels like they are wanting you to step into your playful aspect, your childhood aspect. They want you to think about hobbies that you used to enjoy for pleasure. I can see a lot of you painting and having, and like as children and colouring in and not having done that for years and years and years, like things like that. Like I'm seeing things like that. allowing yourself to go to a beach and like look at shells because they're beautiful, because that's relaxing, not because it has any sort of goal, or like just having fun with your pets, which is funny because my pet has just come to say hello to me. You can hear her in the background. These moments of playfulness on an everyday level are things that you should be taking into your career as well. And there is opportunity for that to really pay back again and again and again. I'm seeing you socializing more with people. I'm seeing you make more connections and networking in the chosen career path that you're having, because you're connecting with something that is so magnetic to other people that they can't help but want to know you better. And that's something that's coming up sooner rather than later. So I'm seeing if you're getting invitations for certain work events or things that are like to do with building like trust exercises, or like a barbecue that someone's like hosting, or just any opportunity that you can have to commit a little bit more to knowing some of your peers. And be careful, obviously, like that those types of people are on the same wavelength as you, that it's not something that's not a good fit. I'm only talking about feeling open enough to connect with other people in a like-minded setting, and having more opportunity to have fun, and feeling a little bit more creative and expressive with how you're showing up in the world, because that's really something about almost that's achieving a better balance than you. It's almost as if you've not actually prioritized yourself in this circumstance with balancing act. It's almost like you've been on autopilot, and I feel like there's something about interrupting that and having a bit more permission to express yourself and have fun. And this is where spirit is coming from with this particular piece of advice here, because there's some eternal knowledge there that's being missed by you. You have an opportunity to nurture yourself and remind yourself of what you were like when you were younger, and why you were attracted to this particular career path that has led you to the moment that you're currently in. And I feel like you may have forgotten that particular lesson, and so this is an opportunity to actually relearn that, remind yourself, and see if that's still matching up with your priorities. Then the little bit of advice we have at the end here. It's funny, actually. It's almost as if that there's it's going to feel like things haven't quite changed, but the change is subtle, okay? So I don't think that this is telling us, for if pile 1 is resonating at all. This reading is not suggesting to me that what you are going to be doing is going to result in a change that's visible and noticeable extremely quickly, but what I am seeing is a definite shift into something much more active and much more positive, something more stable. The balancing act now becomes something a lot more explorative. It's still admitting that you have sort of 2 fingers or like more than 1 finger in numerous different pies. So it could be that you're transitioning into a different area of work, or you're making that move, that there are 1 or 2 less commitments that you need to be worrying about. There's something more explorative and more dynamic happening here with this energy compared to the energy that we have here. And also we have a step up into a different suit as well. So we have a 6 to a 7, from swords to cups. So I really do feel that this is much more intuitive energy. It's almost as if whatever is happening here with this playfulness energy and inviting that in, you're actually unlocking yourself to receive better messages from spirit about how you can help yourself to move on in your career. There's definitely a dreamlike quality to this particular card here, and I really feel like this playfulness energy, this advice that we're having of what possible things are happening soon that are opportunities to move in a different direction, or into a more of a growth mindset. There's dreamlike qualities that spirit is actually asking you to indulge in. It's something that's healthy for you. I feel like you may have just got stuck in a bit of a rut, and it's almost as if you're like, I need to do A, B, C, otherwise D is not going to happen, and that's just like a disaster. I need to do 1, 2, 3, and if I can't do 4, I haven't managed to do a good productive week. There's something about the monotony of the work that you're up to right now that's really trapping you, and is actually that's what Spirit's wanting you to get out of. They want you to get out of that mindset and be a little bit more explorative, because there's something to discover about changing things up. You can step into a different perspective here, and it's through play that that's coming. So it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful aspect that you've got coming through here. And the dreamlike quality is really a continuation of this cup energy. It brings into the 7. It's almost as like, I can do this, I could do that. It's not necessarily the most active card I've seen, so I think I'm going to be pulling some other cards out just to like see what else is happening here, because I'm curious and I don't want to say anything too deeply about this right now, but what I'm seeing right now is that dreamlike quality, that aspirational quality, those ambitions and things. It's almost like they're being reignited by this particular playful energy that I would like you to experiment with, please. Your career needs a little bit of a different energy coming through. So let's just have a look. Yeah, we're getting like some work cards coming up here now. Let's see some more, please, for pile 1. Wow. Okay, read that. Okay, yep. A little bit more, please. Okay. It's beautiful, pile 1. But there is confirmation of what I'm talking about here, okay? The practicalities are fine and you're working in the right way. I will say if you're feeling frustrated with the level that you're at right now, that's fair. You're at a 3 out of a 10, but this is healthy, good, stabilized work progress, so keep going. It's also industrious, and there's like an indication here that you have a team that you're able to invite into the process a bit more, and so I would say if that's available to you that you should do that. I will say that there's a tendency that you have to be a little bit too in your own head, and I think that we were seeing this balancing act, this the dreamlike quality happening. It's almost as if you have 2 types of daydream, like daydreaming in terms of like planning and working out how you feel intuitively about what direction you're going into and what choices you have in front of you. That's great, but there's also this idea that Spirit's got that there's some of us have a habit of possibly maladaptive daydreaming where we're wasting time, and we need to kind of get a grip on that and be a little bit more available for other people. This is what I'm seeing with the playfulness with the elves coming through. I really want to emphasize that like there is something about getting a bit more out of our comfort zone coming through here, and it helping us to stay out of our own heads, because this is quite serious. These energies here are quite serious, and this elves energy for me is one of the loudest cards in your particular spread. And what I'm seeing in terms of the results of these particular types of differences for you to try out is a really happy balance. It's something where you're sort of becoming a little bit more seen and heard, and there's opportunities for you to build relationships and to really get like the career of your dreams. Like, it's very, very, very nice, this energy coming through here. This is a balance of very dreamlike quality relationships and work. It feels very healthy. It feels very expressive and quite I would say it's probable that you're in an artistic setting, although that's not necessarily the case. There's something about an artistry in how you approach your work coming through these cards, and there is indication that it's possible as well that some of the moves that you may make in your career will lead to you finding your life partner, if you are yet to do that. And it's also possible that you may go into business with your partner as well. There's something about this very sort of deep connection at work happening, because I do see that this is not necessarily you single. I see this as you in a couple or in a partnership at work that works very well for you. And I think it's not necessarily something that you've even ever considered right now. It's almost like you've been a little bit stuck. I wonder if partly this playfulness energy helps you to network yourself out of this rut and find new opportunities to connect with other people who have the like minds, and that's possible that you end up going into business with those people, because there's something about really shooting for the stars coming through here. So that looks amazing. I just want to take a few more cards out to end our reading for you, pile 1, because I'd like just a little rounder off of just any last messages that the Spirit wants me to reiterate for you right now. Just any last messages for pile 1, please. Okay, thank you. And another one. Okay, I feel that one and that one as well. So let me see what we have here. We have a 6 of Swords, which is again reminding me about this. We also have an 8 of Wands and we have a 3 of Cups. Let me think. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. This is about moving on from whatever you're at right now. It's not necessarily doing you justice. Whatever rut you seem to be in right now, whatever balancing act you are forced to perform. 6 of Swords coming through twice for me is a very loud reminder that I did not reiterate this original card loud enough for you about the movement of changing up your trajectory. You really need to be changing things up. You really need to be getting out of your comfort zone, because that is the key to changing the situation at hand. There's something about being in a rut. There's something about moving on. I don't know in what respect that's going to be for you as an individual. Only you are able to tell yourself that. You're going to know what that means, okay? So move on. And then we have 8 of Wands coming up. So again, really productive, really someone who is feeling confident, someone who is feeling that they're able to really get on with the things that were on their to-do list. I'm also getting some Sagittarius energy from this card. So if you're a Sagittarius, that might be more particular to you. There's just something about shooting for the stars. Again, I'm feeling this sort of, this arrow coming through. Shooting for the stars really feels like a phrase that I should be saying again. It just is coming up here. I want you to go out and network a bit. I want you to go out and experience new things. There's something on this card as well about traveling. So that's like reiterated again. Moving on and traveling, experiencing new and exciting opportunities for yourself. This is what it is. There's a limiting mindset here that needs to be challenged, basically. And then lastly, again, just another emphasis on our cups energy, another emphasis on relationships, on teamwork, on friendships, on having an abundance of things in your life, of the relationships being the key to things like success within your career. I really do see you building a team, and I think that you need to go out and find your team. And so I hope that this has been instructive and supportive for your career reading, pile 1. I really love having you come here and visiting my channel. And if you enjoyed my reading, please consider subscribing. I'd love to see you back here. Until then, see you later, pile 1. Hello, pile 2. Let's have a look at your career reading. So you chose the card of Serendipity with the black obsidian. So this is your chosen token card for your reading, and I am looking forward to seeing what else we have coming up for you right now. So let's have a little look. Now, how did I do this before? Yes, I think I want to do this. This is my So everything's now for pile 2, please. Just me talking to myself, pile 2, please ignore me. Ah, there you are. Lovely. Wow. Very interesting. Going on here. Oh, well, that makes sense. This is so interesting. Okay, before we go any further, I'm just gonna ask some more information from my tarot for these cards. So bear with pile 2. So interesting. Oh my, sorry, a little bit excitable there. I'm going to bring them up actually so you can see them better. Thank you, that just jumped out. Ooh, I've never really got this card before from this deck. That's beautiful, I've never seen this. Okay. Pile 2. You have some really pretty cards. Serendipity, of course, you've seen. And then, for where you're at right now, we have this card. Into the unknown. And then below it, the Hermit. Which is really interesting because of the mirroring happening through this card, because we also have another indication of a very homebody kind of energy coming through with no place like home. There is a real interesting theme here of luck. I also want to flag up for you that if you are at this time seeing dragonflies, that is spirit giving you a sign of encouragement in the career aspect of your life. It is a very encouraging sign to be seeing dragonflies for you right now, pile 2. So what I'm seeing is someone who really feels very much like their life has been not victimized, or that's a really awful word for what I'm trying to communicate. Somebody who feels like their life, they are looking back at certain things and how they have worked out, and they are really feeling like luck has been such a massive part of how things have turned out in comparison to maybe other people. So if you're sitting there comparing your career to other people, it's almost as if you feel like a lot of the things that you have actually accomplished are not really to do with talent, but are much more to do with just being in the right place at the right time. And there's something a little bit undermining about that particular thought. And you have a very interesting tendency in these cards, if this makes sense, that you're very private as a person. There really is an emphasis coming through here about a very rich home life, and also a privacy that you have. And part of that's actually coming through a little bit of insecurity and a little bit of fear. There's some fear of change coming through with your cards right now. It's funny because I really don't feel like that's something that you should really be concerned about, because there's healthy growth on the other side of change for you. But I can really see that you have a particular... My dog is dreaming, so forgive me if you can hear some little dream barks going on. And she's distracted me from that thought I was following. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, there's like... I can see anxiety. I can see some pain in these cards. And if I'm right about this idea of feeling that you depend more on luck than on yourself, it makes sense that you might feel also that you have had a very horrible experience with bad luck. And that having almost a feeling of having been cursed by bad luck. And I would say it was as strong as that, because the heartbreak that I can read in these cards is troublesome and must be very difficult to live with. So right now there is this feeling of there's like a lost energy coming through. It's like this blindfolded figure here is it's really coming quite strongly along with the Hermit. It's like you felt quite burnt by how things have been. And I'm finding it a little harder to talk, so that feels like that you have felt like, I feel like you felt unable to speak up for yourself. And that there has been something like you have shifted away from that particular situation where that was really, I don't know if this is actually, it still could be current pile 2, so I don't know about that. Also, it's interesting to me now that I'm thinking about this obsidian, because the obsidian is a protective stone, and I do wonder if this is somebody who needs a little bit more protective energy than average. There just seems to be something that's happened where, I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck or whatever, there's some kind of access that I'm getting about feeling quite in the flow of life as opposed to being the person taking charge of life. And I'm seeing someone who does feel quite disempowered. It's almost like you have a limited perspective because you're in a situation where you're quite isolated. And that's been normal for a really long time, actually, or at least it wasn't before, but it's been normal for a long time recently, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like this is a recent thing. It's not necessarily that this was always the case, but it's certainly the case now. It's very possible that because of the last couple of years of upheaval that you really had to pivot, and it hasn't felt like you are really in a position where you're able to make networking like growth of business and growth of career and growth of relationship building within that aspect. It feels like that's really been limited, and it's almost like you're not 100% sure like where you're supposed to go from now, and that has taken quite a sort of knock to your confidence in some kind of way, where you're like, I have no idea, like what am I supposed to do right now, like what exactly am I supposed to be doing in this circumstance. And it has taken you a little bit away from other people. Just not knowing exactly where you fit in. It's funny as well because I can see also for quite a few of you in this pile that time alone was also extremely necessary. It wasn't like it was like, I have to go away. It was just like, it just happened, but it was also like you did discover another aspect to yourself. That's almost some of the reason why this is confusing now, because it's like your priorities changed without you noticing. And now it's like, where do I go from here? That's also what I'm getting. There's also this very positive aspect to this card where I can see that the encouragement from spirit is really strong. This is why I said right at the top of this video, this particular reading, if you see dragonflies, this is spirit telling you that they are on your side. And I am feeling like spirit is a they today. That's what's happening. I don't know, there's plural happening here. Yeah, I mean, yes, the dragonfly is a symbol for you right now, pile 2, so please look out for them in every aspect. It could be like an alive flying in like insect dragonfly, or possibly any dragonfly emblem like a door knocker that you go past on your way to work, or a dragonfly on a card, a birthday card, or like dragonfly emblems that are put into the cupcake decoration that you see in the shop window. Like, there's all kinds of things going on here with dragonflies. This is what dragonflies is about, you having a little bit of a spiritual reminder that you are doing great, because this dragonfly here is coming at you with change. We know that this particular situation is changing now. It will be changing soon. That's what these cards are telling me. I am finding it very interesting that what we have in support of the dragonfly card here is the 5 of Swords, because this is another aspect of pain going on here. I'm wondering if partly this could indicate some kind of breakup or getting sacked, or possibly having to sever yourself from a previous business partner. There's something going on there, and it does not feel very comfortable, but it's not bad change, pile 2, even though it feels like it's bad change at the time, or possibly this is something that you're already kind of anticipating. So if this is ringing a bell, then that's what that is about. You already know what I'm talking about with this. This is, it wasn't working, okay? It had already come to the end. Please remember that. It's just the next bit. You need the change because the change is needed right now, because this kind of, I'm not in control of my life. I don't know where I'm going. I need to isolate myself to protect myself, or I need to isolate myself to heal myself because I'm feeling so burnt out. That stuff is not how you should be living your life. It's not how you should be conducting yourself with your career, but more importantly, it's not how you should be living your life. So this changed dragonfly spirit is coming through for you is out of it's a loving change. So please take it with both hands and enjoy the opportunity to change the way that things are going right now for you. Because on the other side of this change, we have such interesting aspects. So on the outside, to people who don't know you, it may seem like this Hermit card, and normally I don't see the Hermit card as being like a negative, but in this situation it feels a little bit more towards the negative than the positive, in terms of like the isolation not being quite helpful anymore. No place like home it's like the positive aspect to the Hermit card. This is why I was saying there was like there's synergy, there's a reflection going on here, there's some symmetry here with this no place like home card. And I'm hearing the there's no place like home from The Wizard of Oz, so it might be quite fun to watch this film if that's something that you enjoy and haven't seen before, the old school one obviously. The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. There's some, I think that could be a really nice way to engage in a little bit more fun with spirit. It's rewatching that film or watching it for the first time. That's not the point of this video, but I can already feel that there is something in the energy of the reading that's changing as I'm starting to focus on these cards. Pile 2. I feel like I can breathe better, for one, which was something that was weird that was happening before. And now it's like, this is the healthy aspect of you having your own space. This is the healthy aspect of you being able to express yourself and feel like there's a burden coming off of your shoulders, because it was burdensome energy that was happening here. This part of the reading, there's something expressive coming through again. There's something about being proud of what you're building, being happy that you're providing, being safe with what you're providing, and it being an expression of something a lot more akin to your morals, your priorities, your endeavor. There's something just very healthy, and I do feel like this break that's about to happen for you, or maybe already be happening for you, or will be happening soon for you with the help of Dragonfly Spirit, is going to be super, super, super healthy and positive for you in the long run. There is also indication that there's going to be a lot more prosperity in terms of like there's stability happening here. There's just this building on something good coming through here. So it's a really beautiful, positive environment that is actually coming after this Dragonfly Spirit reading. Like, I feel better for it. There's a transformation too, I need to say that, because obviously with the butterfly, that's a transformative energy, which is just reiterating this Dragonfly Spirit. There's all these winged insects that grow and then release and then are with themselves out in the air, flying where they need to be. That's like part of that. And I do feel like it's almost as if you're like shedding off this idea that like you are just like a victim of circumstance. You kind of shed that idea and you take on this idea of I make my own luck. If anything, like a phrase for your reading, it would be I make my own luck. That's what the lesson is here for you. That's to do with channeling a more instructive and industrious energy that makes sense for you. It's not like you're working harder or less hard than you were before. It's just that you're working smarter because you're in a better position. There's something that the change provides you where you're able to actually you're able to utilize your talents much more, pile 2. There's just, and you know what? Another thing I want to say before we move on to having a little look at some of the other cards in this aspect. We started off not knowing where we were at. and we really start, like we really end here knowing where we're at. There's a knowledge here that you don't yet have, and so hang in there in terms of not knowing what things are. I wouldn't worry about it too much, and remain vigilant about seeing dragonflies for your sign that spirit's with you on this. So let's just have a little look, see if I've missed anything out by pulling a couple more cards, please. Just messages for, yeah, wow, messages for pile. Thank you. Messages for pile 2, please. Okay. Ooh, wow. So, first of all, I have 2 major arcanas coming up. I have Death coming up here. I also have 4 of Cups coming up here for you here, pile 2. And I also have here the other major arcana, the Lovers, coming up for you here. Is that focusing? Come on now. There we go. Beautiful. So, okay. Pile 2. Yeah, this is over, this bit. This, whatever the hell this was. This thing here, that's over. It's cancelled. It's not, whatever this is, it's ending. This is not. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I feel so inarticulate sometimes when I do these readings, but it's like please don't, if you're new to tarot and you're very disturbed by the idea of the Death card, I just want to reiterate to you that the Death card does not literally mean death. Most of the time it really does not. Most of the time what it indicates is a ending of a cycle. And so it actually heralds a new beginning. And this is what you need, pile 2. This energy here, like that we're in right now, where you're at right now, this, it has to end. It's just, it's going to end. It's just not sustainable. This, tarot is saying, look, don't worry about this so much, because it's just not always going to be like this. Just wait and see. And this is reiterated again, actually, this ending that we have coming up for you is very beautiful. So I'm very excited about that for you, pile 2. I do want to talk about this 4 of Cups energy, which is coming through here with the change, the 5 of Swords. Like I said before, and I'm burping, so that's indicating something too. Like I said before, this change isn't going to be comfortable and you're going to feel really crap about it, okay? Please be prepared. If anything, you may even wallow for a bit and be all like, oh gosh, I'm terrible, I'm really bad, and this is always going to be terrible, and I'm a bad person, or like I'm not very good, or I'm a victim of circumstance, rather than this idea of I make my own luck, which is the lesson that you need to start learning for yourself. It's just gonna feel bad. It could be, I really do wonder if you may end up being made redundant, or possibly losing a job, or a job offer does not go your way, you get passed over for a promotion. There's all kinds of different ways where this is going to be turning up, depending who you are and your individual circumstances. But this is like a false loss. So it looks and feels like a loss at the time, but in the long term, when you're older and you're looking back on this, you're going to see this as a gain, okay? It's just at the moment, Spirit's kind of saying, okay, you can take some time to feel sad and a bit crap about it, because it's obviously a bit crap and you don't want to hold on to that stuff. It's not good to hold on to these feelings in your body, so please let them out. But there's help there, there's support there that's coming from Spirit in the very least, and often it's coming from people around us. So make sure that you're looking out for those signs of change and experience those moments of hope. Dragonfly symbolism is definitely one of them, but there's also indication that there's people to support you when things are not going your way. And I don't want you to sit and wallow, because if anything, this change is something that had to happen. It was good for it to happen. There's just this what was happening beforehand is just no longer of any use to you, and you deserve better. And the better that we have coming through is just reiterated with such beautiful, loving energy. I am seeing possibly that some of you are going to be meeting I don't know. It's funny because I don't know if it's like a business partner, but I do wonder if like some of us are going to be starting businesses with our significant others, or in the very least the business partner that you may meet, or the job that you may meet, like that you may come into, the opportunities that are about to be coming your way. They're really good ones. They really see you for you, and they really want to work with you. And that is just something that you need to like enjoy and that you deserve. And it really is just like a comforting feeling of like being in the right place at the right time, but it not being because of luck. It's because you worked hard and you deserved it. And you're lucky that it happened, but you did work for it. And you did well. And that's something that's coming up here. Spirit's just reminding me to reiterate that to you. Okay, sorry about that. That's just me picking up the last of the cards to see if there's any messages that I may have needed to reiterate even further for you, pile 2. So we're just going to have a quick look through some cards here. We have one coming up already, which is the Fool. A beautiful Fool. One more, please. Another one for pile 2, please. Pile 2, please. More messages that I may have missed. Gosh. Those two came out together, so I'm going to do another one as well. One more, please, for pile 2. Thank you. Okay. The Fool. So this is the opposite side of the death card. Just a reiteration that it's not about death. It's not about endings. It's not. I think Spirit is wanting you not to focus on the ending, but to focus on the new beginning. And so this is why the Fool is coming up here. This is an opportunity to take a risk. It's an opportunity to start something new. It's an opportunity to have that potential of new growth that's happening through you. Okay? So Spirit is reminding me about that again, just because they want you to be aware of it in a positive sense. Because you have a little bit of a tendency to focus on things not quite going your way if they're not perfect. It's this idea of serendipity, of it being like it has to be perfect. You have some wishful thinking that's like a little bit maladaptive, and it's not useful for you. And then in the middle I have 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. This is about balancing and growing. This is why where you're at right now has to change. You're not necessarily you're not balanced, and there's not any room left for growth. So that's why you have to go, you know? That's what's going to happen. That's the next bit. And that's something that you're in charge of, that you're responsible for, because this is a very materialistic little part here. We have the 4 coming in here with the Pentacles again. This is very materialistic. This is about making practical steps towards your goals. So you need to make sure you're balancing yourself, you're balancing your priorities, and you're also making sure that you're growing and you're focusing on success and growth on your own terms and taking responsibility for that within yourself. This is again, this phrase that I kept saying to you before: you make your own luck. This is the Spirit reminding you that this is the case. And there's also a little bit here about making sure that you save money. Okay? So if you're someone that's a little bit, spendy, Spirit is just reminding me right now to tell you to make sure that you're spending your money wisely, that you're laying a foundation, that you're making sensible financial decisions just on a long-term basis, because that's also another reason why you will end up being successful, is you're actually creating a little bit of a nesting egg for yourself. You're actually going to be able to keep paying back into your business and paying back into your life, investing in yourself, investing in skills, investing in your business so that it continues to grow into the future. That's what you have the potential and the power to do right now, and Spirit wants you to do that for yourself. So thank you so much, pile 2. I just want to tell you, I have not seen a squirrel in my garden, but one has just jumped up into the window to have a look into my house. So if, pile 2, not only are dragonflies symbolic to you, but if squirrels are symbolic to you, I just want to tell you that there's a squirrel coming up at me, and I think that's a wonderful sign of whatever I was saying just then being something you needed to hear if squirrels are significant to you in any way. In fact, if anything, Four of Pentacles talking about saving for a rainy day, squirrels basically do that their entire lives. They are always putting nuts away so that they have enough to eat during the winter. So I do think that Four of Pentacles coming up here and then the squirrel coming up in literally the time I'm talking about Four of Pentacles, I do think this is Spirit telling you need to save money, okay, pile 2? That's important. So if you're actually making money right now, you really need to make sure that that money is being put away so that you're able to utilize it as you go forward. So pile 2, I hope that you enjoyed your career reading. If you did, please subscribe. I am very grateful to those of you who do subscribe, for those of you who comment. I love hearing feedback about the reading and if it was resonating with you. And until next time, see you later, pile 2. Bye. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your career reading. You chose Here and Now and the beautiful blue tiger's eye. Let's see if that's going into focus for you. There you go. Yeah. Some really interesting card that you have chosen. Just looking at that, it's just really, really interesting. Let me see, like, you are here. If anything, this makes a real interesting sense because it's almost echoing the structure of the reading that I'm going to be conducting for you right now, pile 3. Really assessing like where you are right now. And then a nest egg. Lots of potential. I'm actually just going to quickly have a little look over the book to see if there's any little clues that I'm not picking up on. Because there is something very enticing about that card that you have chosen. Being fully present in the moment, living one day at a time. Lovely. Okay, let's not dwell on that. Let's pick out the rest of your cards and see how all of this talks to each other. Because this is, of course, just your totem. Alright, where are you now, pile 3? Okay, you have 2 cards coming out there at the same time. I can't ignore that. Really interesting. And before we go into it, I really want to look at my tarot for a little bit of support. So please bear with as I pick out the cards I need to help read your informations. Thank you. Wow. Oh. Pile 3, I'm already really, really interested in this read. This is so interesting to me. Alright, can I have a... Thank you. I need that here. Hold on a minute. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing here. Beautiful. So, hi pile 3. Let's see what we're working with. First of all, I'm not really surprised that you're like really interested in having a reading, because there's so much choice and limbo energy in here. There's not like, I've done readings in the past that are much more grounded, and this is one of the more unusual readings that I have done in recent memory. So first of all, I do want to say that I feel like you're in a very good position right now in your career. There's something about maturity. There's something about being at the right place at the right time happening in here. There's something about maturation of growth, that you have developed something, and there is evidence and process, and there is some evidence of just you having established yourself in ways that maybe some of your peers haven't yet. Or in the very least that you have grown something that has... It's something that's tangibly real, that you have... It could be that you have your own business. There's some sort of like idea here that I'm getting of like having... Yeah, like that's just what's happening. It's interesting because I didn't realize before that I had actually pulled out an extra card here that the other 2 piles did not have. But that just happened naturally. It just was like, I know that was going there, so it just went there. And I think it's there to help me understand why Here and Now was the token card that you were attracted to. You're very exciting. This energy of like, I'm getting energies of like someone that's traveled a lot, seen a lot of stuff. Somebody who's really inquisitive, somebody who has really grown something. It wouldn't really surprise me if you're someone who like was like conducting themselves in like the van life or like travel blogging, or I don't know, like also like someone who's interested in like animals and in like study of insects, and I don't know, there's something very exotic about how you're coming across to me right now, pile 3. And established, yeah, there's an establishment energy here as well. And it's really interesting that you're looking for a career reading, because despite this energy, there really is also this massive indication that things are very much about to change. And there's some kind of frustration going on in these cards. It's very low frustration, but there's some sort of, there's like it's not frustration actually, I wouldn't say that as much as that. It's more that there's an opportunity for growth, because there has to be, because something's changing just externally. Oh, I'm just burping, so whatever I'm saying was probably correct. I can feel, yeah. You are so open to whatever comes your way right now, and it's not because you don't know what you want, it's more that you just really accept that like things happen for a reason. Like this seems to be something that you buy into, that idea that like you're in the right place at the right time, or you're not, but you're always in the right place at the right time because it's your life, so how can you not be in the right place? That's kind of where you're at. Like you're not someone who's sitting there contemplating what could have been. You are also, again, this idea of travel is coming up here. I don't know if you're someone who has not traveled, I would say that you should be traveling, okay? There's something about this, you have such an open mind, like you've seen a lot of stuff, and it's something, it's like you're always learning. You have a very sort of open, childish, like, it's not childish, you're not childish, like it's childlike, not the same thing. This capacity to remain open and to be willing to accept lessons and to like willing to like not know. It's really attractive aspect of you. Other people find that very attractive in you as well. And in a career sense, it's very exciting because it's almost as if you're very able to have careers or like jobs or whatever, like the way that you make money, the way that you earn a lifestyle, like earn money to have any lifestyle, is like you sort of adapt, and you're really willing to take opportunities as they come. It's just not a common feature that everybody has. It's partly the reason why you're doing so well in a way. You're just someone who can adapt really easily. And I'm also seeing this, there's something happening here where you are wanting more. It's like you're really yearning for more adventures. You're longing for a adventure. If you're someone who hasn't done the adventures yet, you are someone who's adventurous and you do need to answer that call. The thing is though, pile 3, the thing is, you have to wait. It's not now. Whatever is going on where this needing to expand, this growth is going on within the career right now, we're coming into a fallow period. Spirit is warning you of that, and you need to let go of this idea of it always needing to be go, 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 go. That it always needs to be a time of growth, a time of expansion. You are coming into a quieter, fallow period of work, and that is okay. And you are going to have to remain still in a way that maybe might not be very comfortable. So it makes sense why this reading's coming up like this, actually. Because I was sitting here thinking, as I was bringing out these cards, like I was a bit like, this is really unusual because I can't really see what this is about in a way. And now I'm looking at this spirit guardian here of autumn and letting go, and here through here with the Hanged Man. This really reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, just separately. But it's like this next period of your career is going to be something where you are ready to let go of things that aren't working, and that there's a process now that's happening for you where that's something that needs to happen, and you need to stay in one place for a while. It's gonna not feel very nice though. Like I feel like it's gonna feel quite frustrating and a bit weird, and like, do you know what? Before I keep continuing, I'm just gonna turn on the lights because it's getting a little dark. Hi, pile 3. Thank you for bearing with me as I walked all the way over to the other side of the room to turn on the light. Yeah, it's sunset right now, and we need to see these cards. So you're gonna feel weird and frustrated and kind of constrictive in a way, and like I feel like Spirit is saying here that this is, you have to let go of this idea that you always have to be on the move and that you always have to be like up for this next adventure. Like there's some kind of lesson to be learned, or there's some kind of it's just a warning in a way, like not to go crazy, because it's going to feel hard not to, especially when you're someone who's always looking for the next thing. There's something of value to be learned in this time of like letting go of like results somehow. And I see that coming through as well. Like we have the fact that I had 2 different cards coming up here. It's almost like you have this lesson coming up here about ambition. There's something about ambition coming through here. It feels very much like you're very accomplished, and like this next stage happens after a fallow period that kind of shakes the foundation, that maybe they're not quite so open and feeling quite as accomplished as before, like being forced to stop for whatever reason that's going to be. It kind of puts you into a bit of a spin, and we're getting that through the round and round. It's like letting go and then round and round and round. I feel like those are 2 of the same kind of message. It's like 2 sides of the same coin. You have to let go, but at the same time, there's going to be such a lot going on in your head. It's just going to be spinning and spinning around. And that's also quite useful too, because you are required to really like reassess everything somehow. It's almost like you get this time and the space to do that because you are forced to stop. And Yeah, it's almost as if, because you're given that space, you are given that time that you can actually solve this somehow, and you start to realize what it is that you need to do. The leg up card here is talking about a maturation, and you have some kind of growth that needs to happen for the next step in your journey, in your career. I am seeing such a strength coming through here at the end of this period. I'm not so sure how long this will take, but in my head for some of you it's around 6 months, and for some of you it's like 6 years. There's something about the number 6. Queen of Swords is ultimately a destination point for you. This is actually where you're going to be at the end, and I really, really see that as a continuation. Like, this is where you're at right now with the Two of Wands. This is where you're going. Do you see that there's like some themes that are carried into both these cards? It's like a maturation. You may feel very like, you may feel like you know a lot right now, and that's going to you're basically going to have that completely, like the foundations of that belief are going to be completely shaken, shaken, and then you are going to be forced into a period of growth and maturation that results in you kind of being a real force to be reckoned with. Someone who's a leader, someone who knows what they want, someone who plans ahead, someone who has these ambitions still. There's definitely an emphasis on travel. I do wonder if your career is something that means that you travel quite a lot. Because I do see that's part of you, and I wonder if the traveling stops in the middle period here, and then it goes into a different, more mature type of travel somehow. I don't know how that is, but a leg up does seem to be a promotion after a fallow spell. It's very interesting to me. I can't give you specific answers, obviously, because this is not what tarot's for, but there is, I mean, what's happening is definitely some kind of graduation into a higher self. So it's really interesting, pile 3, and we are going to go and look into this deeper because we obviously need to, with some more tarot cards, and then again some more after that, just to get a little deeper into this thought, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. To get some clarifiers. Any messages that I have not picked up on or need to reiterate, please, Spirit, for pile 3? Any messages I need to pick up on, please? Pile 3, thank you. I want this one too. Wow. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Sure. Travel writing. If that's something that really was on the nose, again, there you go. It's not necessarily what it is, but I'm seeing some of you begin to write, if you maybe haven't already. Yeah, so I'm right. Spirit's reminding me again that this place that you're at right now, there's something childlike about that, and that's good, but there's also this invitation to step into a more mature aspect of your life, a mature aspect of yourself as a person. It won't be that you have to be like all grown up and like you know all the answers or anything like that. It's just more, there's this sort of, there is a graduation happening that Spirit is like indicating towards me that's about to happen. And there's also this opportunity to learn a new skill during the fallow period that's about to start coming in. One of the skills suggested here, quite rightfully, is writing. There's something about journaling, something about letting go, that somehow that the way that you are also helping yourself to let go is journaling. And it's just going to be something that you feel like you're required to do, partly because what else is there to do? So it's like, it's just this place where it's just not quite happening in the way that you wanted it to happen. And then because of that, there's an opportunity to slow down and express yourself in a different way. And I think that something about that learnedness, that you are someone who is, because it's a knight, you're someone who's quite active about this particular endeavor, there's some opportunity to learn new things that you haven't even thought about before coming in here. It could be that within your own job that you're offered some kind of course or extra qualification, and I would say if that's something that's happening, you should absolutely take hold of that, because for some reason there's just this fallow period in business. There might not be as many opportunities to make a living or to get commissions, or there's something going on like that. So what I'm seeing is branching out is a really good option for you right then in the future, the near future, pile 3. That's what I'm seeing. Branching out, learning new skills is something that will really benefit your soul, not just to do with career. It really is something that it's almost like you learn a new way to express yourself, and that's just something that's very important for all of us to be doing at all times. Is just letting ourselves be expressing ourselves authentically. And again, this idea of travel writing is coming up. It's just crazy. I obviously know that that's such a specific career, and I don't want you to be thinking, oh, if I'm not a travel writer, that's ridiculous, like then this is not for me. No, it's more just I'm seeing that that's something, like both travel and writing are happening. It's not necessarily travel writing, but there's travel and writing, and some of it could be that you're a travel writer, fine, but there's something about this intellectual part of you that I don't think that it might not be something you've really thought about, like sharing things, sharing your own thoughts to other people, blogging. I don't know, it's weird. I can't quite put my finger on it, but the one thing that's the loudest, if there's somebody out there who's watching this video and they're like, I think I would like to be a travel writer, yes, this is basically something that the cards are saying. But in the sense, again, of getting travel, because six of Wands is reiterating this travel. I just wonder whichever career you seem to be having in the future, you're going to be traveling because of it, and it's going to be something that's really enjoyable, and it makes you feel very powerful, and it's something that you're very good at, and it's something that people look to you like you're definitely a boss of other people for sure, or you're in the very least you're bossing it yourself. Like you might be working for yourself. There's people look to you for answers, and you're someone who has an authority of thought that people are interested in hearing about. Okay? Those are the things that are, regardless of what the career is, those are the truths of this matter. I want to just have a couple more cards for anything else that I need to reiterate for pile 3 at this time, please. Any last thoughts for Spirit? Please tell me. Any last thoughts, please? Thank you. Let me bring it the right way around. I don't tend to do reversals, although it's interesting because that does. 3 of Swords being reversed is interesting. Let me see. Any more? Thank you. Oh, again. They all just reversed. Whoops. 5 of Swords. And then our last little message for pile 3, please. Thank you. Haha. Damn, okay. Aren't you an interesting person, pile 3? So Spirit just wants me to remind you that there is definitely... this growth isn't comfortable growth at the time it's happening, which is pretty normal. Most growth doesn't necessarily always feel comfortable. I actually think there's just a little message in here. Spirit's saying you're gonna feel really sad looking back on what you've lost when you start to enter this fallow period that's coming up in the near future. It's gonna feel like something's been taken away from you, and there's going to be a period of some grief about that. And Spirit's hearing that part of like it's. I do wonder if you're in a position where like it could be that you're entering the workforce for the first time and you realize that, oh gosh, this is adulthood now, or possibly leaving a job that you really enjoyed, or possibly losing some type of freedom now that you're changing careers up, or something's going on like in that kind of area where it's the right choice and it's the right change and you're ready for it, and it's something that like. I mean, it's happening regardless of how you really feel about it, and you're more than capable of it being. There's also, do you know what? There's something a little bit about you not having thought it would be quite like this. And it's like after the fact of it having already changed where you're feeling like kind of upset about it. The Spirit's just seeing that part of it. So I mean, you know, I have to say that because it is just an aspect of the change. It's going to feel a little harder, a little sharper than maybe you were expecting. And again, yes, when we're reiterating this moment of a slower work time, during a moment of feeling like you're not quite getting anywhere, feeling like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, that's going to feel really uncomfortable, and that there is also going to be an aspect where you're kind of fighting a little bit with other people, not literally, not like verbal craziness or anything like that, but there's some friction going on. So maybe possibly not quite getting on with other work colleagues, or possibly not quite getting on with some ideas or projects that feel like maybe it's not quite the right fit for you. There's just something there's some friction happening in this fallow period. There is something about needing to let go because you're not quite as in control as you would like to be, or that you've been used to be. And at the same time, we do have this Knight of Swords energy. I feel like this is almost your escapism. There's some kind of stress going on in the middle here. There's some kind of reminder from Spirit about needing to have less of a sort of emotional investment in the outcome, because it's not like it's going to be okay, and Spirit's like, this is just temporary, so just like get through it, and please take what you can, like the messages that you can take from it, take them. Look after yourself and write and journal and intellectualize yourself and learn, because that's also a really good way to communicate. I wonder if actually for you emailing is better than speaking to people in person. I think it might be something that helps you to get your thoughts out better than speaking. You might be clearer than in emails. And there's certainly just some sort of upheaval happening in this time period for you as well. So this is Spirit telling you to be prepared for that. This is a that's not a word. This is a polite and helpful word of encouragement and warning that there's going to be some like friction going on here in the near future. But we do end on such a positive note here with what lies ahead. You really come through it on top. You really come through it having learned lessons and gained skills that you would never have got if you hadn't had this period of growth, this emotional difficulty. You're not getting burnt out with this. You're really growing. It's just a painful type of growth, like growing pains, like it is what it is. But you need to be there, because what we have here is just this reiteration of, particularly if you're female, there's a really kind of, there's an emphasis of female power in this. This Queen of Swords energy, this woman is really very knowledgeable, confident. She's really good speaking and like leading. And yeah, this authority is something that people are attracted to and respond to really well. And High Priestess is almost like the other side of that. This is an aspect that you probably are able to develop more in the near future. It's to do with listening to your instincts more, your inner voice that is about tapping into the wisdom that you already possess, that you are going to be developing. It's already there in this in your head. It's already there in your experiences that you will be having. It's going to be coming out with someone who has matured into their role and who is in a position of power and leadership. I really do see you getting promotions. I really do see you doing very well in your choice of career. I do see you using both aspects of both your intellectual side and also your intuitive side to be someone who really shows up in their authentic power at work. And I see that this is going to be something that provides you with a lot of excitement and a lot of joy. And I think that's what you have been like yearning where we are right now. That's what we're yearning for. And the trip to get there is a little rocky, but ultimately Spirit is saying you will be ending up there, and I'm with you on this journey, and you are more than capable of achieving this. But also, like, strap in, you know? It's going to be a bumpy ride. So pile 3, that was your career reading. I hope you enjoyed my readings. I would love to have you back here. So if you enjoyed this reading, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you back. I really enjoy reading comments and seeing subscription numbers go up. It's really encouraging, and I love knowing that you're out there listening to these readings. But yeah, until I see you next time, pile 3, bye.